National Education Forum calling. Let your voice be heard on education in Ghana. Send your inputs to the National Education Forum Planning Committee via nef@moe.gov.gh. National Education Forum, transforming education. Let's build Ghana together.
Education quality provision, education financing, regulatory and accountability systems, and evidence for decision making. So this is the order we are going to follow for the presentation of the reports. So kindly put yourselves together, select one person to do the presentation on behalf of the group. So once again, a very good afternoon to you. We want to formally welcome you back from the breakout sessions. You know, we started in the morning, and here we are, it's past noon. What we are supposed to do as of now is the presentations. And I believe that all of us gathered here are very well poised to take a listen to what our presenters, or put it better, our moderators will be telling us as far as the 5 thematic areas are concerned. So we have infrastructure, they will be doing it first. Then we have quality education provision. The rep of the group will come over here and do the presentation. And then we will also be taking a presentation from education financing, regulatory and accountability systems, and evidence for decision making. So this is the order in which the presentations would be made. So without much ado, I would want to welcome a member of the committee, perhaps to share a word with us before we start with our presentations. So ladies and gentlemen, help me welcome Mr. Stephen Kweku Osu, Deputy Director General, Management Services. Let's welcome him with a thunderous applause.
Thank you, bro. I'm adding my voice in welcoming you back and to thank you. In fact, we had the opportunity of going around to listen to you, and we're so pleased with the discussion and the way the discourse went. Moderators, thank you. Kudos for the good work done. We saw the interest of some of you, especially those at the quality, and then the passion with which we were presenting your issues. You just want to believe that we're able to capture every view because they are all important. Somebody asked in the morning whether this will feed into whatever plans that we have. Yes, it is. Once we are receiving these, we are also going to sit down to align with whatever we are receiving from the other zonal engagements. And then you have a framework for implementation. What we are going to do is just to pick highlights from the discussion. You know, we had sub-themes under each of the transformative pillars. So when we come to infrastructure, under infrastructure, you might have other sub-themes. So if you can highlight on those, within 10 minutes, it should be done for each of the groups. You started with a, right, so our brother will continue to moderate and drive us. We don't want to spend more than 1.5 hours here, including everything. So if you are given the opportunity to make presentation, please work within 10 minutes. Then other activities could be carried out. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Deputy Director General, Ghana Education Service, Management Services. We're very much grateful for the explanations that you've given to us. And then I believe that on behalf of the presenters, they'll be working within the time that you have stipulated. So 10 minutes. So now, Let me call on the rep representing Group 1 Infrastructure who come and do the presentation. Infrastructure, are you ready? Infrastructure? Not yet. Okay, so education quality provision. I believe you are ready by now. Hey. Okay, so let's now move on to education financing. Oh no, education financing, I believe, done by now. Education financing, that of regulatory and accountability systems. Are they here? Regulatory and accountability systems. Are you ready? Are you ready? Also not yet. What of evidence for decision making? All right, so thank you very much, my brother from, is it the Education Watch, eh? Good, good, good. I had it right. Okay, so thank you so much. Whilst we await the presentation going to emanate from the, if there is anyone here who has a recommendation to make as a person, you are free to come and take over the microphone and let's see what you have to tell us. In all these areas that we...
Isaki. 4 subjects.
At which particular level are you talking about?
At each level, let's say the lower level they are doing 4, upper level they are doing 4, JHS they are doing 4.
Okay, so thank you very much. Look, there's a hand up there, back there, sorry.
Thank you, sir. First, I'm Isaac Osu and sir, representing the PWDs.
Oh,
as persons with...
Please, again, your name?
Isaac Osu and sir, representing the PWDs. As persons with disabilities.
Oh, okay, that's fine.
Please, my suggestion is that the public buildings should be built in such a way that it can be accessible to all the persons with disabilities. At us, when they build let's say a story building, you see that they make the ramps at the ground floor, and they fail to make the top ones accessible to PWDs. So I'm suggesting that not only the ground floor, but the top floor, because this impedes the progress of our education. Those who have been attended, especially the tertiary educations, you see, some of the libraries are at the top of the buildings, and our people, the complaints that we have been receiving is that they have not been able to access the libraries. So if the public buildings are built, they should, especially the educational infrastructures, they should make a provision for ramps so that a disabled person can access the building. And again, I would suggest that the main budget should be separated from the educational budget. At times, when the budget is drawn, we see that when, according to the disability law, we are supposed to go to school at any level that we like. But at times they say, oh, they have exhausted what we call it, the budget for PWDs. So I would suggest that the PWD's budget should be separated from the main budget. Thank you.
All right, so that's a concern well noted over there. But now we have other speakers who would want to contribute to this particular forum. Can we have a lady speak now? Gender balance. Okay, so let's hear you.
My name is Issa Bafo, Municipal Director of Education for Sunyani West. My issue is with the relationship between NASIA and Ghana Education Service. I think that the implementation of Act 1023 has some issues regarding private schools and who supervises them. When you go to the private schools, they will tell you they are under NASIA. And so whenever you are doing any activity, if you don't enforce it well, they will not participate. Recently, we had census. And in that, when we invited them, they wouldn't come. In my district, I had to threaten them that if you don't come, you cannot register your candidate with me before they participated in the census. So I'm of the opinion that the communication on who should sponsor what or who should supervise what should be well done so that you know what we should do. Because if you go to 1049, it tells you that the directorate is supposed to register the private schools and monitor them. But NASIA is to monitor, register both public and private schools. However, it seems that their interest is only in the private schools, and that is what is creating that problem. Right. Thank you.
In as much as we do the contributions, I know that perhaps you have other suggestions, other recommendations to make to the people in charge over here. I'm talking about the committee members. But let's limit our contributions to what we are supposed to dwell on today, the 5 pillars. So if you want to say something, it should be in relation to that. Thank you so much.
Okay. I'm Patrick Adum Kwating from Yoso College of Education. My concern is about the flow curriculum, the flow of the curriculum. And what I mean is this, that the kind of curriculum that we are implementing at the basic should run through up to the higher level. A good example is this. We used to have the previous JHS concepts. Teacher trainees were trained in agricultural, technical, and other courses. When they are posted, these courses are ready down there that they will go and teach. But the current curriculum is said that we train teachers, and when they go there, they find themselves wanted. We train them agric, they go there, there's no agric at the basic school. So they are compared to teach science. We train them home econs, they go there, there's no home econs. They are compared to struggle with the teachers to teach career technology. Here's the case we claim, or it's a bare truth, that Ghana is an agrarian country. We are making effort to boost agriculture here and there. But the actual agriculture is learned somewhere, but it is not practiced. So if we will get a kind of curriculum that is focused on practical aspects, reflecting the culture or the societal aspiration, I think it will be good. Thank you.
That's a laudable one. I'm sure Mr. Sarah Hana Paso Ketria, a coin in the hall over Timaka. Why? Casabia Paso Kebiano, Sebitiasian Quadia, over Timaka.
Mr. Moderator, me dawasi. Masem me so me pese me de tu dwane se. Asem no edika na hwan ne beka. Hwan e ne beka sa asem no. De na e kire se ye Ghana fo. Em se ade a etim e kire se ye Ghana fo pa de edikan pa ne ye kasa. Na ye behwe so a ye kasa no ye mfa nye adwuma ye nyina ya ye ho abrofo de se wo a utimi ka abrofo kama pa na kire se sebi unim nyansa enti bibia obedi animu na se wo a utimi ka abrofo pa no unim nyansa na obedi bibia anim dia me ode brofo no bre wo no so na kire se oyeden o superior enti eba saa ye mpuntu no enko nanim ye twa ye nuanum bebre eja efise omo entime nka brofo anase omo nte brofo enti de mesre ne se ya momodin amfa ya ye kasa an kyerɛkyerɛ ya ye ho ya amfa ye kasa no anto ho anya nchimma daachi nchimma ebe kansem bone ya fa ye ho pa ombebo ye chi yie enti mehu kunini ne anim tiri wɔ ha bebree eno nti na meka asa asɛm na dika na hwan na bɛka ehia akokoduro efisɛ me sɛde yɛ nyina yɛ nim ne yɛ nim sɛde Ghana fortie ɛna yɛ nim ba bi a Ghana brɔfo de yɛdu enti wo a wobɛte agyina hɔ sɛ wobɛpɛ sɛ yɛ de Ghana kasa ɛbɛkyekyere Ghana ama Ghana ayɛ yie no wobɛbrɛ bebree eno nti na meka asa asɛm na dika na hwan na bɛka enti moa na wɔsɛ moka
na wede me ntwa wano so anka enkomo a yedi wa ha nyina no wobɛsusu sɛ ɛwɔ yɛ sukuu mu no yɛde yɛ ankasa yɛ kasa no kyerade a anka no bɛyɛ akyɛn brɔfo no ana
pɛpɛɛpɛ brɔfo no menkasa yɛ nsua na mmom yɛyɛ kasa no na ɛnni kan ɛno na kyerɛ sɛ yɛyɛ Ghanafoɔ ansa na ne yɛaka biara aba
nana wano hwɛ
meda wase
that's fine Abusha, but on one view, who else would want to make a comment? There was a hand here. There was a hand there. Why? Papa no share channel, Tramunino. Aha. Oman and Saswache. Aha.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam.
A friend is Idrisu.
Aha.
Ba hanse, a pamacho be. Me brata nyina samna me ka okae no ena nka me so nka me ba be follow
okay
enye nyina na eti
brofo no
but o mama invitation letter on fa something am frɛ no
mon fanchen say de brofo kwa na de kasae ba ntira sesi ya no ye hu ye mpunso a ya gya to mo ntina de twi no e fra brofo no amana bibia ayi.
I am Paul Bukhari, representing Ghana Education Service Security Association.
Okay.
I think concerning the National Forum of Education Sector for the better future, everything we do in this modern world today, we need security.
Security.
Exactly. So I think Ghana Education Service should draw a policy that we can take a second look concerning the security system in even the basic school and then the senior highs and then the education officers. The reason why I'm saying this, that we should find a solution for it is that it doesn't matter however you build a very nice infrastructure and there was no one taking care of it. It can be either a fire outbreak or it can be any so many things that will cause the infrastructure that you did concerning the Ghana Education Service. So I am pleading with the Minister of Education and then the government of Ghana to take a second look concerning
the security.
The security.
Because after you have provided the infrastructure and there is no security around, anything at all
is zero.
Can happen.
And then today, I think Ghana Education Service are working with a white man, not a security. And this white man, the youth today, no one needs or
they don't want the name watchman.
Exactly. So even if you publicize that you need a
so
white man
you want that to be changed to security
man. Exactly. So thank you so much. I think
all right. Thank you so much. No, now we want a lady to speak. Any lady here? Oh, ladies, you don't want to talk?
The ladies are not ready to talk.
So this is the last one we are.
Secondary school, the whole free by Charles.
Okay.
Na the India, you were double track and a friend transition and say, and Kalana Dosso. And I was said, a Diana, a demono, and so into a channel crack. Na I was by the news to say. Sa we mo makwana we mo fie no emwa nti obeyi afiri ho futu e de pese e de man ne se anso na obeyi afiri ho no schools na omo operate double track no e was say omo move into each of them na ye hwe omo problem say dormitory yesi mo say ye classrooms are yesi nkonwa na fe so sa schools no yɛmfa number bi nto hɔ so de be o mo nsesa nkwala ni nyina no mo mfa say a check equitably na schools no akoda bi e wo say ma facilities no e ye pepepe wo kura se kura ese se unya bi nti akwala ne ko akosua de a onum se obenya ade we asua nyesu second kwa na wo eno nti na o de pressure ato schools no so no nti yesra ban se on fa be sa afi na on study no mun si infrastructure yamfo ba wi am me headmaster me boys dormitory wo de nkokogu ho kra ye na ho telling you so ho sabe e ho na ye student omugu sabe ene abefo na nkwada ejo mo na wo
enti we dem ntwa ono so enti solution na say aban mra na o be si aban mamo
solution no na say
yes
yen sisi babi ankwala ne beda ye mehwe na yen sinye se dan kekeo ye si dan a babi ya teacher fo be hwe student no no mo monitor mo so ye si yes detached bungalows babi ankwala no so sabe o beje o mo na mo aye o mo ho yie babi o mo do o mo chop box besi trunks ye ni nyina modern na fe ye twemu a na yate ase e da mo ase
we dey nyina ye beda say I think there's a lady there. Obawa, there.
Please let me add something to what. No, I'm not going to do any. I'm just adding something to what.
Okay, just add on.
It's true what he's saying. My category A schools, you know, yes, of pressure. Yes, so you say open my school ma. A bear one was say, and kwada at the akunya in the civil a table. Actually, so. Yewa assembly hall in Kunya over 1,004. They say uko assembly hall Kunya wa nkure ni ho. Cause ni nyina o classroom a akwada no teso as table one say use as chair. It is a double track no or transition no ye twemu a ebeboa na other schools no ye mo mo sunya infrastructure ni bi. Na nkwada ni bi so entimi move to that place. Na
until say no solution ni ye den
solution ni say
or how na aba no ye nya ne den
ada infrastructure the infrastructure
oh
yeah na nkwada no so no ye cha ye nchen equally about the category A schools ma je awie but still near the nipa no ye den ba every crying aba
ye dey omo free
and crying and crying yes
yo mate ye nua ba bia pagya ne nsa wa ha mensa besrew
yo
look mensa me bato
owi adoma no
to we are
bacho me dey ba ko
now 5 minutes within which I ye be
kasama students no and your system of education no akwa ye say akra ade a woni mu no nyina ba begina niema kakra bi so so we na so ntimi am pass sa niema no it means akra na kafra o na bra bo no kwa no English science maths or social asa elective saba akra betimi am pass elective nyina na yes we ntimi am pass English enti akra no university ntimi nkobi nursing ntimi nkobi ntimi ntoa school so meanwhile saa service na electives ni nyina na akra no de brofo na eden etroye identity ye ho sa ye o man na sa say education is for all na so man ni betumi a ye target say bia ye pe technical vocational education ama ye nkra no ma me ye say ye de kafra o mo ya dwene kire ye nse o mo ye less privilege e wa adwene mu na for ye assessment no nkwa na enko ho o mo ye nye no open na akra ne tro na say English nkwa na wa ye problem mo a ya mana konya no ntimi nkoye den onko enkosua de wo entina mama ni je new curriculum na transcript de no nice no e basa ibetimi assess ni pakro ne performance wo school mu practical ni ada ayi na oyere nyina ne be ye se ne be yankoye wayek fo ne be determine ni pakro ne future nko a because wayek de no e be duru on ko bobia na akora na ka fra oyare wantima nya de ye
that was say ma yankoye nua ba na nchen look mensa obara ne be twato e de amayen. Then we come to the present. Oh, look, Mensa, please take a listen to me. Go to the lady. Call Obani we are. Then if there's a time, we have time, we will get back to you. So Sorry.
Okay, moderator, me da say. Me din di Grace. Me pa chawo, masa mo me pese me kan efa. Omo mo secondary school sunu. Ye me pese me kasa efa ho eye niema ya esisi. Ubati school ni we anya watwi sikan teacher for ni ya twi pisiri won so. Me pese me stress e. Omo mo eye mistress ni house masters no. Anka ebrano no montimi enrasa kinkura no omo dem na saa niama no nyina no yenyinyi free ho because akwa no okono school no oba mo ye ni chop box ni ntade no ne bibia mo onkuta sikan onkuta blade fair enough enti oko no onye wura mu wie na se edumre kakra bi na se that kind of monitoring no enka na brabo ho a eho e ma mo kokoti associations yenim schools bi a yesi omo secret society kra ewo enti wukwa na wonya interest say obejoin wo omo a wumbom na omo de be wo omo niama omo betan physically onsi se wo ankasa no wo de hu ebeka wo omo ho enti no wenum nyina no ye focus on curriculum book ne wenum kwa ho practical aspect no na ye ma ye refin kra no abraba as a school no culture melting point ye per se breeding intellectuals omo pie so a no mo be burden onto the society
okay the person that's say look I'm say you better the last look at me, the last person here, and then we are done for this session. No, please.
Thank you. Mamin Kachi.
Kachi.
I'm say most often than not. Okay, Mamin Fra Chini Brofo. Michini nye. Forgive me. Yes. Niam pesa me can say.
Well, please, Buma Hanya Dima or Kachi.
Niam pesa me can say. Say a quality education. Mostly you focus on teaching, teacher for students. But there is another leg. Our education more. I am fair in the encore. That is the non-teaching staff. Say, for infrastructure, for example, go and see where the kitchen for no, baby no. Go and look at those places. And yet, say, unya enrollment, nice one, and where the food is going to be prepared. A honya quality education no, won't be the enya. Now, go to schools no. Who be say students be say maybe 3,000 cooks ebe ye eduane emasa students no omo also maybe say 10 and less than that. Somebody talk about security. Who be go school enrollment be do be say 2,000 and above. Who be share not only 2 or 3 security and as a watchman for any wo. So if there is no security, how do you get quality teaching and learning? Again,
challenges now. My solutions to the problem. We are interested in the solution.
No, I'm highlighting the issues before I come to the solution.
Once,
so your back kitchen for no. Near me soon say your kitchen no. Yema infrastructure no enya up to standards.
Yeah, that's
number one. Number two, ni omunu aduane no cooks ni metros no yemfa bebre because currently ni omo ho no
yemfa bebre na yema yede no aduane no eno so enya den enya papa
good
na den bio
na security at the schools level eno so ehun hia
security banda ho asem Ufa, watchmen na currently omo ho no. Omo nyina ye nkokurafo.
majority
And you also say, watchmen are ever found.
Upgrade this watchmen to security.
Whereby
young men will be recruited
to
man our schools.
Yeah, that's it. We'll be coming, but no, please wait. We are working within time. We would come back to this section, but Muma Yanko tie the moderators, what they have for us. When we are back from that session, we'll open this forum again for you to communicate to the committee.
Thank you.
For them to take notice of. Engineer Bushafo, Sabre would want to invite over here the representing infrastructure to come and do the presentation for us. Infrastructure, please. Let's give them a round of applause as they come. Let's applaud them as they come over here to do their presentation. One person is going to do the presentation, but you can have 2 supporting staff or 3. So you can come and support him. Thank you so much.
Hello. We're making a presentation on infrastructure. We know that infrastructure plays key role in the teaching and learning process. Infrastructure challenges such as inadequate infrastructure, limited access to technology, and outdated educational facilities hinder effective learning. Records show that dilapidated structures and schools and the trees number up to about 5,000 in the country. And there's a furniture deficit of about 1 million. You see learners lying on their stomach whilst learning. Suggested solutions. Stakeholder involvement in the provision of infrastructure in partnership with local carpentry and building industry. Decentralization of the procurement of furniture. So we realize that SMCs, PA, educational units, chiefs, the community should be involved in the procurement of this furniture. What you are normally going to crying, Abba. So there should be decentralization. They also need to create enabling environment for public-private partnership. So NGOs, CSOs should be encouraged to invest in infrastructure. Any possible tax exemptions should be granted to these NGOs and CSOs. All basic schools should be disability friendly. Then the provision of modern furniture, especially for the KG. Since we want to integrate KG into the main system, then the classroom setting should also be in such a way that they will be able to integrate freely. Most of our KGs now have the dual decks and others. Meanwhile, they should be using the round and hexagonal tables and chairs instead of the dual decks, so that it can help in teamwork and collaboration. Then the provision of wash facilities. Most of our schools do not have urinal, changing rooms, toilet facilities, and others. So they should all be provided. Then tree planting should also be encouraged to help protect our buildings against the wind and against the sun. Then solar energy should be encouraged in our schools, and where there are no electricity supply to make sure they are all set in our schools. Provision of modern technologies in our schools. So there will be supplies of projectors, television sets, public address systems, computers, tablets to help our students. Then educational software will also be included to help. Then all our schools should be digitized. There should be digitized classrooms. So the provision of Wi-Fi should be there. We talked about security. Human security is now in scarcity, so we can encourage the use of CCTV cameras to enhance security in the various campuses. Then we're talking about inadequate classrooms and dormitory blocks, so that has already been highlighted. We go to
the secondary schools and you see a lot of learners sleeping on the floor. Sometimes some are even hanging around without a proper place to sleep. So we should all have those classrooms. Okay. So like we said, local artisans should be part of the procurement process. Then the use of government land to partner with private entities to build infrastructure for staff accommodation. So the BOT should be encouraged. Building of well-equipped workshops in civet institutions is another solution. MOU with private entities as part of corporate social responsibility and partnership with banks so that it will help in building infrastructure for us. Management of land and master plan for building schools with GS infrastructure plans and consideration of green issues. Orientation of buildings should not face the sun. So that's why we encourage that we involve architects in helping us. Then budget allocation for maintenance for Ministry of Finance. There should be a maintenance policy. Harvesting of rainwater will also be a great advantage to us and boreholes. Then involvement of the PTA, SMC, and all stakeholders in helping with this. Then building of user-friendly schools innovating with PWDs in focus. Prioritizing digital infrastructure for STEM and AI education. So we said that we should encourage the use of EduTech, Zoom, online teaching models for the tertiary institutions instead of the physical presence of students. So we go to STU and have about 10,000 students without the corresponding infrastructure. So if we encourage the use of digital infrastructure, it will also help us a bit. Then eco-friendly system infrastructure, installation of solar panels, green buildings, renewable energy, the use of biogas will also help. Then water storage system, small town water projects and the central system distribution. Then installation of elevators at all campuses of the universities. Then disability-friendly buildings for all buildings on campus. So thank you very much. That is the presentation from the infrastructure people.
Alright, so thank you very much. We're very much grateful for your presentation. Can we please do it better for them? And then welcome the Education Quality Provision Group. We're ready. We are introducing them to the microphone with a big round of applause. Let's do better for them. Let's do the presentation. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Mr. MC. Our group perhaps had the most arduous task because issue about quality is so dear to everybody's heart, and so we spent a greater part of the time talking. And the ways that we had a whole day to talk because our issues will not be exhausted. But given that we have only been given 10 minutes, we'll just highlight a few of the issues that need attention. That a few list of points we raised will be made available to the rapporteur so that they are all captured. So issues about access to education was the first thematic area for quality education. And for this, we had the following issues that were raised. For primary education, we realized access to schools is a problem. We still have communities that do not have schools, or the children will have to travel long distances to access education. Even with the schools that they eventually access, we realize the structures are not appropriate, and in most cases they are not disability friendly. There again, we also have issues with gender.
gender-related and equal opportunities. That yes, I am in education will be now. Then my MF to get I mean, first son for secondary education. If you are not so not doing the national education.
Secondary education, we are recommending that the idea of having a model.
So the POTs should be encouraged. Building of well-equipped workshops in TVET institutions is another solutions. MOU with private entities as part of corporate social responsibility and partnership with banks so that they could help in building infrastructure for us. Management of land and master plan for building schools to go with GES infrastructure plans and consideration of green issues. Orientation of buildings should not face the sun. So that's why we encourage that we involve architects in helping us. Then budgetary allocation for maintenance from Ministry of Finance. There should be a maintenance policy. Harvesting of rainwater will also be a great advantage to us and boreholes. Then involvement of the PTA, SMC, and all stakeholders in helping with this. Then building of user-friendly schools, renovating with PWDs in focus. Prioritizing digital infrastructure for STEM and AI education. So we said that we should encourage the use of EduTech, Zoom, online teaching models for the tertiary institutions instead of the physical presence of students. So you go to STU and have about 10,000 students without the corresponding infrastructure. So if you could encourage the use of digital infrastructure, it could also help us a bit. Then eco-friendly system infrastructure, installation of solar panels, green buildings, renewable energy, the use of biogas also help. Then water sewage system, small town water projects, and the central system distribution. Then installation of elevators at all campuses of the universities. Then disability-friendly buildings for all buildings on campus. So thank you very much. That is the presentation from the infrastructure group.
All right, so thank you very much. We're very much grateful for your presentation. Can we please do it better for them? And then welcome the Education Quality Provision Group. They're ready. We are introducing them to the microphone with a big round of applause. Let's do better for them. Just do the presentation. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Mr. MC. Our group perhaps had the most obvious task because issue about quality is so dear to everybody's heart, and so we spent a greater part of the time talking. And we wish that we had a whole day to talk because our issues will not be exhausted. But given that we have only been given 10 minutes, we'll just highlight a few of the issues that need attention. But a few list of points we raised will be made available to the rapporteur so that they are all captured. So issues about access to education was the first thematic area for quality education. And for this, we had the following issues that were raised. For primary education, we realized access to schools is a problem. We still have communities that do not have schools, or the children will have to travel long distances to access education. Even with the schools that they eventually access, we realize the structures are not appropriate, and in most cases they are not disability friendly. There again, we also have issues with gender related and equal opportunities, where schools are not friendly to girls, especially to accommodate their sexual health issues. For example, use of restrooms and all of that is a challenge in some of these schools, and it impedes ladies getting access to education. So that's at the basic level. At the TVET level, the hindrance
to access is related to misconception about TVET. Yeah, I said TVET in the local school, no one here for me, no way TVET. But yes, I in by my emma TVET and I course a son. Yeah, secondary education. To also so or maybe no being yakwana and school. Secondary education so issues there includes parental irresponsibility. We don't want high say free in teacher boss or crop to and a ban on person over top. No, I want a baneti so on. If you go to school, a problem. And proximity to school. Some people have had access to school, but the distance is too far, and so they feel discouraged and they don't go. For the university, infrastructure challenge is the main issue there. A lot of our tertiary institutions don't have enough facility, especially hostel, to accommodate all the students who are admitted. And for that, others who have access to the hostel, the fees being charged poses a hindrance. And so financial challenge is also another issue that is impeding access to tertiary education. So for all these, the solutions we have prescribed. One of them is that we need to enforce legislation that compels compulsory education for all children. The F cube needs to be really, the C in the F cube needs to be boldened so that we can make it compulsory for all children to be in school. We also need to provide enough facilities, and I think our infrastructure team have dealt with that, so I wouldn't belabor that point. For the TVET, we need publicity campaigns that will educate the populace to support TVET education so that their children who are sent there will feel excited. Now, yes, so yeah, to TVET, Huama, Ubiam Pesobe, and Associations and Adjune. Now, Yanka was and Pancher Mofrahe, Ma Bensoso bin to me, and rule TVET no. Secondary education, we are recommending that the idea of having a model school in every district should be revisited, because we see that the congestion is arising from the fact that the choice schools are few, and so everybody wanting to go there is creating all the problems we have. So let's make sure every district has a model school. There again, parental sensitization is also important. Getting the parents who are trying to be responsible, let's help them to be responsible and support their children's education. Well, still for the secondary education, we realize that a lot of the challenges we are having with the free SHS has to do with the burden fees, which the government is trying to absorb. And we think that it's not even fair to those who eventually get day school. It feels like those in the burden are cheating you because they get fed, and then you don't get fed, and you still have to commute long distances, sometimes walking. And so the recommendation here is that let's get the model school in every district, make it free for all day students, but if you are going to the boarding school, you pay for the boarding facility and for the feeding. Universities, the recommendation is to have enough facilities and regulation of hostel fees so that the poor and vulnerable may also have access to tertiary education. Then the introduction of functional scholarship scheme. We realize there are a lot of scholarship schemes that are not functional. They exist in name. And so we need to ensure that the scholarship schemes we have are really targeting those who need it and providing opportunities for them to also have access to education. Then finally, for the university, we realize that some of the programs are concentrated, the choices programs are concentrated in only a few tertiary institutions. No Western North, medical school be anyhow. This year concrete and I tamale. Inti yenina a koboso or one and so I a problem. Inti why don't we allow other tertiary institutions in the areas where they don't have those choice programs to also have them and build their capacity so that we wouldn't have to travel long distances to access some of these programs like medicine, engineering, and those that are of high demand. Then issue related to teacher quality. The issues we identified for basic level includes demotivated teachers. Some teachers who are there because they think teaching is a stepping stone, and so they come in there to wait for their best opportunity to leave. We also saw a challenge with deployment of teachers, where we are putting square pegs in round holes. We also identified that CPD opportunities that are created seem like a punishment to the teachers, and so they don't feel the need to take advantage of them. For the secondary education, we saw that the teachers have equipment skill gap. They have a lot of knowledge, but the teachers themselves are struggling with skills for the equipment that they are supposed to use to teach their learners. And so that is a challenge. Then also competency skill gap. There again, they know the content, but the skill themselves, they are struggling with that. For secondary education, we still have demotivated teachers. And for university education, we have outmoded content and teaching methods by lecturers who are still sticking to their old notes that their lecturers gave them in 1984. So for the solutions, we are suggesting that teachers need to be incentivized. Beyond just the salary, we should be looking at accommodation, vehicles, granting tax waivers, and so to encourage teachers to also acquire some of these things that we think are luxury, so that their image will be enhanced and they will feel motivated to stay in the service. For TVET, we recommend ongoing professional development opportunities for TVET teachers. And more importantly, we think that we need to begin to have specialized teacher training institutions for TVET. Institutions that will only specialize in the training of TVET teachers, so that they can focus on pedagogy that is related to TVET education and prepare them adequately before they come to our institutions. For secondary education, we are recommending that recruitment of teachers should be decentralized as it used to be, where the heads of institutions will have a say, and not just the heads, the directorates at the regional and district will have a say in which teachers are coming to our schools. As it is, it looks like somebody in Accra is making all those decisions. And the teachers come to the schools and they feel like they owe allegiance to Accra more than the headmaster who they came to meet. So let the head teachers, headmasters have a say, heads of institutions have a say in who becomes teachers in their schools.
You have a minute to wrap up.
Okay, thank you. Curriculum, the issues we are realize at the basic level is frequency of changes to the curriculum and limited resources. And the solution we are prescribing is that we should allow our curriculum to run minimum of 5 years before, if we want to make modification, we will. Also, providing enough resources for teachers to be able to implement the curriculum is a recommendation. Curriculum at the TVET, we observe that it's not purely aligned to industry needs. And the recommendation is that we look at the TVET curriculum and align it properly to the needs of industry. And same with secondary. Too poor and exam-centered nature of our curriculum is not making learners get the essence of what they are supposed to learn. And the good news from our team is that the new SHS curriculum is good, but then we need the resources to be able to implement it effectively. For universities' outdated curriculum, the recommendation is that universities revise their curricula to include emerging technologies like AI and those new things that are coming up in society. Leadership challenges. At the primary level, we saw that the teachers lack financial management skills. And we also realized that some head teachers are overaged, although on paper they are not overaged. So the solution is to establish standards for continuous capacity building for our teachers and have a structured way of rotating so that teachers who are tired will give way for young, vibrant teachers. TVET, ineffective leadership, same as secondary education, and the recommendation is for capacity building for leaders in TVET institutions, and also the revisiting of key performance indicators. As it is, it looks like the focus is on passing examination. but we feel it should be broadened so that head teachers can also focus on other areas. At the university, we feel the appointment of leadership should be based on competency and not just rising to the ranks or by party affiliation. Finally, on inclusion, we saw the issue about language as a barrier to some people having access to education. So just as we started doing here, giving the space for people to freely express themselves in the local language should be considered as an inclusion issue, because it's preventing people from accessing and really benefiting from school. TVET level, several levels of qualification with some confusion all over. The recommendation is that we should streamline it, especially for persons with special needs. They get stuck at some point. So we should streamline the levels of qualification at TVET institution and give pathways for persons with special needs. At the secondary education, same, we feel that persons with special needs to be given special attention, and we need to have specialized schools for persons with disability in every district, so that there could be a resource school for all the persons with special needs in the other institutions. So finally, we had some general suggestions, but one important one is that we feel all the issues related to quality has something to do with politicization of higher education. It looks like teacher quality, access, curriculum, and everything has been politicized, so much so that good intentions are misinterpreted at the local level. So we are calling for depoliticization of education in general to ensure that quality education can be implemented in all our schools. So there's the sum and highlight.
Wow. So thank you so much. That's a comprehensive one. Quality presentation, eh? Then let's do it better for them once again. Now is the time for education financing. Education financing. They're ready. Education financing. Are they here? Yes, I can see them walking briskly to the microphone. Wow. Let's welcome them to the microphone with a round of applause, just to ginger them up, do the presentations. Thank you so much.
Good afternoon. We are here to present on the theme education financing in Ghana. And as the Akan adage goes, Yankwatia Adrumra. So you realize that this theme serves as a bedrock for all the other themes. The funding challenges associated with the education delivery. Here you observe the delay in the disbursement and also the inadequacy of government funds, including the capitation grant, school feeding, and free SHS and TVET, which negatively affects the delivery of education in so many ways. One, it disrupts school operations. It also increased financial burden on parents because some heads may have no other opportunity than to request the contribution from families or parents and guardians to support the running of the school. Also, it impedes the infrastructural development, and it also reduces the enrollment and then the attendance at our school levels. And also there are inefficiency in school management, since some administrators are forced to operate on credit and borrow funds to keep school running leading to that financial strains and difficulties in planning. How can government funding be optimized for maximum impact? First, government should improve the budget and then financing. So here we encourage or we recommend that government should allocate a high percentage of national budget to education to ensure sufficient funding and also ensure timely disbursement of funds, and also have a dedicated funding, especially from our oil revenues and then other sources. Also, government should enhance revenue generation for our education sector. Government should also strengthen transparency and accountability regarding the financial audit operations. Also, we recommend that government seek international and donor support from the World Bank, IMF, and other international bodies to support the funding. How can the government engage in innovative way of financing? So here we propose some models. The first model that we propose is crowdfunding and community financing. PTAs and local businesses can co-fund school projects through direct contributions. Also, government can engage in mobile money and fintech-based student loan schemes. And also, government can also establish diaspora education fund so that Ghanaians abroad can contribute to education investment fund to finance and support school development projects. Also, corporate social responsibilities and scholarships can also be organized. And here we are talking about companies such as MTN, Blue Oil, and Unilever fund scholarships and school infrastructure as part of this CSR scheme. How can private sector contributions and donor support be scaled up? One, we can do that by strengthening public-private partnerships, that's the PPEs. The government should create policies that provide businesses with clear guidelines, tax benefits, and investment schemes. And also offering tax incentives and corporate benefits. And creating education fund, education investment fund. So here we are arguing that this fund can pool resources from private firms, philanthropists, and donors to support long-term educational projects. And also, government can expand donor collaborations to support this worthy cause. And also, engage in corporate social responsibilities in education, whereby government can leverage the activities of telecoms, such as MTN and Vodafone, to provide ICT education and e-learning initiatives in support of the running of the schools. What mechanisms should be put in place to address funding gaps in education, particularly the free teachers? One is by expanding the Ghana Education Trust Fund, which is the GET Fund. And also, government should prioritize GET Fund allocations for free SHS infrastructure, textbooks, and feeding programs by increasing the percentage. Also, government can improve with the internal generated funds in schools. Schools can establish income generating ventures such as farms, vocational training centers, and rental services to supplement government's funding. And also, we can engage in public-private partnerships, thereby strengthening partnership with the NGOs, international donors, and faith-based organizations to support the free SHS policy. Also, we also recommended cost sharing at the SHS level, since it is becoming difficult for government to fund it. So we are even emphasizing that government should engage in cost sharing at even all the levels. All right. And also, government should abolish the free SHS secretariat to eliminate duplication of work. What measures can ensure transparency and accountability in education spending? One, we can engage in open budgeting and public disclosure. The government should publish detailed education budgets that outline allocations for salaries, infrastructure, textbooks, feeding programs, and then scholarships. And also, independent audits and oversight committees are recommended for the government. Here, regular independent audits of GET fund, free SHS funds, and donor contributions to detect mismanagement. The internal audit unit should also be resourced in this direction to ensure independence. To ensure the independence of internal auditors, we propose that the government should propose a law on the formation of the internal audit service, and also strengthen parliamentary committees on education and finance to ensure strict oversight. What measures can ensure transparency and accountability in education spending? Here, also strengthening procurement and then resource allocation. Government should implement competitive bidding and then also bidding and then also e-procurement systems to eliminate corruptions in textbook and school uniform supply contracts. How can education spending be made more equitable and inclusive to address inequality in education delivery? One, there should be a targeted funding for disadvantaged groups. So government can allocate more resources to schools in underdeserved rural and low-income areas to bridge the gap. Also, the government can engage in inclusive education for children with disabilities. Here, we propose that the government should increase the funding for special education programs and train teachers to support students with disabilities. And then, third point is on gender-responsive education policies. Government can address gender disparities by providing incentives for girls' education, such as scholarships, sanitary facilities, and mentorship programs. And also, government should expand technical and vocational education, that's TVET. Here, government should increase the investment in this sector to provide alternative pathways for students who may not pursue university education. Targeted funding. I think now this is the end of our presentation. Thank you.
All right, so thank you so much. Now we have the penultimate presentation, and that is number 4, regulatory and accountability systems. But the way the Maminka is wow car, a car number GT 8082U, Nissan Premier. She said, what's the point, baby? And to Bomodina Kuyika na mine. But we also want to acknowledge that this program is live on Pan-African TV, and again, it's also live on the Ministry of Education channel. When you go to Facebook, you can follow the programs over there. So quickly, let's welcome the 4th group, and they are the regulatory and accountability systems.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Mr. Chairman, all protocols duly observed. Our group was charged to look into the regulatory accountability and governance of our educational system. We were given 4 thematic areas, and we have the policy reform, quality assurance, role of stakeholders, governance. Due to the groupings or the areas, when we went, we grouped ourselves according to the thematic areas. And I will touch on briefly on all the areas. With the policy reforms, there were these issues outlined. That is the concentration of power in headquarters. Example, appointment of teachers in the basic and senior high schools being done at the headquarters. We also came up with this issue. The role of religious bodies in schools governance are not well defined, leading to misunderstanding between managers of education and the government officials. We also came up with this issue. That is, we have inadequate engagement of major stakeholders in the planning of the state of educational policies. The solutions we came up with are, we propose that there should be decentralization of power from the headquarters through regions and down to the district offices and schools as well. We know we have 4 levels of management areas, that is from the headquarters, GDS headquarters, we come to the regional level, district level, and the school management level. We are also proposing that we should formalize the partnership engagement with the faith-based institutions as mandated by the Pre-Tertiary Education Act 2020, Act 1049, which all aimed at national development. There should also be stakeholders' engagement in the planning of state of educational policies, as we are witnessing today. We also looked into the challenges associated with regulating the implementation of educational policies. We have intermittent review of policies, lack of political will to implement the policies, inadequate funding of educational policies, political interference, inadequate monitoring and evaluation. The solutions we found to these issues raised. There should be national framework to guide educational policies in the country, which cannot be frequently changed by successive governments. Politicians should be committed to implement educational policies. That is, politicians should decouple their manifestos from educational policies. There should be enough budget allocation for to fund educational policies. We are also saying there should be proper monitoring systems in the place for implementation of educational policies. How can decentralization improve education governance? These are what we came up with, or ideas we came up with. Improve efficiency in resource allocation. We should increase community participation in education planning. Faster decision making and problem solving. Improve teacher management by distribution of teachers based on local demands. That is, we are saying we should look at the demands in our various districts or schools before we distribute teachers to across the district. We should enhance accountability and transparency. Under thematic 2, that is quality and assurance, we looked at teacher standards. The current standard we have the minimum qualification for a teacher is the first degree. That is why the College of Educations have now awarding the first degree. We also have the licensure being organized by the NTC. The current existing structure is that after a teacher completes the College of Education, he or she has to go for the national service before they come back to prepare and write the licensure. Our recommendation now is that right after the College of Education examination, the teachers should prepare and write their licensure exams before they go for their national service. We are also proposing the introduction of digitalization literacy curriculum at the teacher education level. Now we are switching to digitalization. So we are proposing that the program should start, or there should be a curriculum at the teacher education level, so that our students or learners can also have the impact at the various levels.
All right, so you have 2 minutes.
We are also saying that they should create a unified grading system for both private and public institutions for easy migration. We came to student performance. Currently, we are saying that some of the results are not true reflection of the student performance. And we are saying that we are seeing that this is as a result of the more practices going on in our various schools. We also propose that, looking at our methodology, we should consider the learner's needs. We should also consider the class size for effective control. We are also saying that we should integrate project-based system of assessment with the traditional system of assessment. Now we are concentrating on the traditional system. We are proposing that they integrate that of the project-based system of assessment as well. Okay. In fact, we touched on a lot of things, but because of time, we are moving to the stakeholder role engagement. We itemized, or we came up with these stakeholders. That is the local government, community-based. These are the two we came. That is the sector board as well. The details are there, and we will present later. We are being asked to summarize, so.
Because this one, if I should allow them to.
The last one.
The last one again.
The last one was on the governance. The governance, we came with the following governance bodies. That is the council, the board, and the SMCs. We identified some challenges. We proposed some solutions to them. And I think when we get there,
I think the report will be presented to the committee.
Yes,
so let's give them a big round of applause for doing us this honor of this presented. This is a detailed work, I must admit. So put them all in one paper and submit to the committee. So now, at this particular point in time, we are left with the last one, evidence for decision making. Please keep it short for us. Let's welcome them with a round of applause. Thank you so much. I understand some people will be traveling to Western North and would have to do it very fast for them to go. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you very much, and good afternoon to you all. I'll present on behalf of the fifth team. We are looking at research and data for decision making. And the themes that, or the sub-themes that were given to us were 5. The first one being school placement. And now we identify some key issues relating to the CSSPS. And I think on that one we have some submissions in terms of how to address the issue. Now the first one we identified was that in order to address the challenges of the CSSPS, we should have a unified education data, spanning data collected from Ministry of Education, GES, TVET, including other stakeholders whose input may be so relevant, so that we can have easy access. And then this can also help to improve the CSSPS. We also indicated that the parameters for data collection should be expanded. And with this one, we are saying that we should fall back to these stakeholders so that they provide a stream of information they think should be captured. And I think this is relevant because of the challenges we are seeing with the CSSPS. Now, we also added that we should expand the issue of accessibility and transparency, especially in the use of the data. Because if people have access to it, they can make inputs, we can revise and make it better. And they also need real-time data so that we can improve the system based on something that is really concrete. And that can give us a very strong hold for the decision that we take afterwards. Now, on the second sub-theme is policy-level data system. Now, we identify some few gaps. And I think we need to look at it and look at how best we can address them. I think the major gap is data indicators and management, and the fact that we had challenges with coordination among the various agencies that are in the education sector. And I think a typical example is NSIA, NASIA. I think those in that sector too, I think there is a challenge, especially in terms of coordination of data between that, between NASIA and the GS, especially in respect of the inspection of schools, especially the private schools. Now, in terms of how to address it, we think that all agencies must operate strictly by their defined rules and mandates, so that we don't have others crisscrossing and then we don't have issues of contention here and there. I also believe that their reports should be sent to the appropriate agencies for decision making. And then lastly, we believe that all stakeholders' interests should be captured in the data generation. On the third sub-theme is inclusion. And as one of the issues we are supposed to address was how can real-time data be used to address disparities in education. We have some suggestions. The first one being that we should use mobile data system where we decide to collect electronic-based data from these schools so that we can improve upon the whole system. So this could be from the national level, streaming down to from the school level, streaming down to the, or up to the national level. And we also said that for every school, they should have the capacity and they should put in place measures to gather, store, and manage real-time data from their levels so that we can do kind of checks from the districts and then running down to the national level. We also said that data should be built from action research so that the data we pick could be used to improve the system. Then we added that we should move the data to a centralized system for easy accessibility. So we could also fall on the first suggestion we have made where we have information built for the CSSPS. Now we added that we should use data on all people, including those who are disadvantaged, the disability, people with special needs. We should capture data on all this category of people. And then we should also do some mapping of underserved schools so that we can monitor them for inclusion and then so that we can improve upon the system in these areas. Now the fourth one related to data accessibility and usage. And on this we are asked to check on how the GES, TVET service, school management committees, teachers and tertiary institutions could leverage data to enhance teaching, learning and management practices. These were the suggestions we made. We suggested that we should digitize the data and make it available to end users so that people, whether locally or beyond, can access the data. And then second, we added that we should use information repository system That was found from the local, circuit, district, regional, and finally at the national level. And this should cover institutions or bodies such as GES, TVET, MOU, so that you can have proper coordination of the data that we sort. And then we also try to look at how education data can be accessible for stakeholders so that it can enhance policy accountability. We suggested that data should be user-friendly, so that we should also include infographics so that people can easily comprehend the information or the data we provide for them. Then again, data should be openly accessible. And with this one, we had some caution that general information should be something like open access, but where you need specialized information, it should go with some protocols. Now, the fifth sub-theme was research and development. We are tasked to look at how research and development institutions and tertiary institutions can better support the government's education transformation agenda. And with this now, we suggested that we should conduct real-time research, which are practical-based and are relevant to the national transformation or transformative agenda. Then, from the local, regional, and national level, we should have themes, so that these things will guide people in conducting research. And we said that we could be taxing the undergrad, so the universities can help us, and the training college, so that the undergrads and the graduates can be tasked to conduct relevant research that builds on this transformative agenda. And we said that there could be motivation packages so that we can rope them into selecting relevant topics that suit our interest. Then we added that we should have evidence-based policy to guide the research agenda. And on these issues, we added that there should be proper collaboration, as it relates to university, industry, and community research. Because when you have it that way, that means we can have the issues raised at the industry or community level, and universities can conduct research to suit that agenda. Then we also added a little caution here. I think those in the universities will support me. We said that the National Research Fund should not replace book and research allowance. And I think from the guide that was given to us, we are sure that it will not come in and replace it. Now, on the issue of funding, we said that we should have a dedicated tax handle so that you can fund this National Research Fund. And then, for example, GET Fund could be, some part of GET Fund allocation could be turned out to NRF, and then we will get also industry support, international grants to support it. And then on the issue of equity, we also said that we should look at the strengths of the various institutions so that we can provide different levels or categories for the funding window. We believe that if you make it very open, then equity will be an issue, so that institutions that have strong capacity will be the ones who will be winning the grants. So let's have those levels and then categories so that everybody can be roped in at every point that is suitable for their strength. Now, we also said that on the governance and management of National Research Fund, we should have diverse representation, cutting across people in different stakeholder positions so that we can have every interest captured in the process of disbursing the fund. And then we said transparency in evaluation criteria should also be a fact there. So it means that all the processes should be transparent so that we deal away with the issue of conflict of interest. And then lastly, since we are related, I think the last part, when we are related to data and then how it can inform policy, we are saying that the results of publications should be made public so that it could influence policy and decision. And then finally, we are encouraging or more or less suggesting to the organizers that since we are dealing with data for policy, we believe that the final report of this engagement will be made available to all members. Thank you very much.
Wow, so thank you very much. So we are yet to see if the report will be made public for us to peruse. All right, so thank you so much. We've all done very well by sitting in the morning, breaking into sessions, and then coming back to do this amazing job. Now is the time for us to invite onto the microphone our chairman in the person of Professor Kojo Edinkra Apia to do us the honor of the closing remarks.
Thank you very much. In the morning we were here and you accepted me as the chairman of this important forum. And I also requested from you to help me to conduct a very successful forum. And I think that is exactly what we have seen. Can we give a better clap to ourselves? When I visited some of the sessions, I saw the enthusiasm that members were contributing towards the discussions, and I was so impressed. So I must say that I am very grateful to all of you for your time and contributions to make this forum a very successful one. We were told earlier on by the special guest of honor that the outcomes of this forum will be utilized by government. So we hope and believe that all the cogent points that we have raised here, government is going to put them to use in order to transform our educational sector for the best of this country. Thank you very much, and God bless you all.
I want you to take note of this. Please pick your pens and your papers. You can also record this on your phone. NEF at moe.org.gh. NEF, that's National Education Forum. NEF at moe.org.gh. Sir, ufi sir assembly waha. Nanke be hiya sir ubetimi aka na waha na wantimi anya kwanya nanka. Ubetimi di afa sa address so. What the address is so ampanyimfo nsa beka. Na there was somebody here bia no mo dey. If you are here, you had wanted to share some solutions with us, but you were unable because of time, this is the address through which you can link the National Education Forum. So on this note, Ebusiafo, you better say, the Nyamia Yamayeno, why be do they just say they are saying Kabia de Mano, Nyamia Yadi Yepa. But before that, I know my boss or announcement you or officer of my. Thank you so much.
MC, we are grateful to you and thank you as well for thanking us. We have the final message for you, and we are going back to our groups after we have had a closing prayer. We'll go back to our various thematic and transformative pillars, the groups, the way we sat. We are going back there for the last message. The moderators, is Sally here? Our brother would like to meet all the moderators at the back there. So if you moderated any of the sessions or the sub-themes, you have to talk to him when we receive or we pray. Quality will stay here at the right. Quality, right. Quality because of your numbers, right. So quality will be at the left here, right? Okay, then finance. Okay, so we want the finance group to go to the top. Then quality will be here in front at the right. Then in front at the left, infrastructure. We are left to research. Okay, research at the back there. Behind the camera people. Okay, so that will be regulation and then accountability. So here will be quality delivery. Finance will go to the top. You said finance will go to the top. Right. Then infrastructure will be here. Then research data. If you were not at the group discussion, if you were not there, after the prayer, we will say thank you. Because during the discussion, we sent registration form there, and we are going to speak to those who registered at that level. So if your name is not on that paper, God bless you for coming.
Yeah, Bishop, would want to say a big thank you to the organizers for putting all these important forums, making it possible. His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Ghana. And of course, we're also looking at Honorable Haruna Idrisu, Minister for Education, Director General. We want to say a big thank you for putting this forum together. And again, we want to say thank you to the host school, the host university. Prof, we are very much grateful for the opportunity. And to the regional chairman of the NDC, His Excellency, Honorable Kojomafo, we want to say that we are very grateful for the time that you spent with us. When we came here early in the morning, he was the first person who was seated, and I never noticed him. So, His Excellency, we want to say we are very much grateful for your time. To all the regional directors, we want to say Ayiko to you. And again, you know, I was thanking the Director General. In fact, I should have big mention of my good brother, my boss, Mr. Stephen Kweku Owusu. And then the Education Watch. Yes, I just want to say that that guy, I once interacted with him on radio, but I never knew he was the one. So, my good brother, Kofi Asari, I want to say a big thank you. And to the regional ministers who came, we are very much grateful for your time. Our regional directors, our district and municipal directors, and to everybody over here, we want to say we are very much grateful for your participation. Now, I want to invite over here our brother Idrisu Bridge to come and give us the closing prayer. It's going to be a Muslim prayer. Idrisu Bridge. Now, anyway, my name is Kobla Abuchi. I am the regional PRO for Bunu East Region, GES. Thank you so much.